a podcast network. This is the Lifestyle Live Podcast.
Faces you know and a team you can trust. Stories that form your heart. Lifestyle Live. Lifestyle Live.
Welcome back to the Lifestyle Live Podcast. I'm your host, Felicia Michelle. Today, we're exploring one of the most difficult but deeply human experiences that we all face: grief. I talked to author Mallory Greach. She wrote a powerful book called Fulfilling Goodbye. After losing her dad unexpectedly, Mallory found herself overwhelmed, not only just with sorrow and grief, but all the logistics that come along with planning a funeral and managing an estate. In this episode, Mallory shares how Fulfilling Goodbye became a lifeline, not just for herself, but for many others, offering a structured, compassionate approach to saying goodbye. Let's get into this very important conversation.
Lifestyle Live. Lifestyle Live.
We are here with Mallory Greach, who is the author of Fulfilling Goodbye. Welcome to the show,
Hi,
Mallory.
thanks for having me.
Okay, so this is a book about grief and navigating grief.
Yes.
From like almost step one of when that happens in your life.
Yep, from the first meeting with the funeral director to all things that come for months after the funeral and visitation and all of that as well.
I want to ask you, how did you come up with this, and how did this idea come about to make this book?
Yeah. So my dad passed away in 2022. He had multiple sclerosis for as long as I can remember, and then he passed away from COVID. He was in the hospital for 11 days and passed away unexpectedly. And a lot of the planning kind of fell on my lap, as my parents had divorced a couple years prior. And my dad was a stubborn guy and had nothing in order. He had no will, he had just nothing. We couldn't find anything. And so I immediately looked online for some resource where everything was in one place, and I couldn't find it. So as I was planning his funeral and visitation and tying up all the loose ends of his estate, I just started making lists and compiling all those resources, and that eventually became Fulfilling Goodbye.
That's amazing, because that's a toll on top of the emotional toll that's already happening, and then having to stay in like a kind of a business mindset when you've just lost someone, and your brain's jumbled up.
Exactly. And so even if you've been through something like this before, Fulfilling Goodbye is a great resource, just because it hopefully can take a little bit of the pressure off of you, and just organize your thoughts while you're going through grief, because that's the most important thing, is just being able to grieve.
I'm big on talking about grief and being honest about grief. I've talked about it here on the show, my personal experience with it. I remember Googling, what do you do when your brother dies? Because I just couldn't think of, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, how am I supposed to navigate this? And I've never had to navigate the planning of something like that, especially as a young person too, because most young people, they have their parents. You know, they don't think about that till maybe later on in their 40s or 50s.
Exactly. Yeah. It's such a hard thing, and there's so many little things that go into it, from, like how to write the obituary or forwarding their mail, and then honoring their wishes. There's a lot of pressure and a lot of things to do. So if this can help even just a little bit, that would be great.
I mean, I think it will too. So I'm just going to open this up here and take a look, because you're in this space where you just found out this, I call it like a gut punch.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Of news, and your life is changing, and you're trying to navigate that, and then you're also trying to think, okay, I need to have flowers, and you're kind of turned into an event planner. After, and you're catering to other people's needs in the midst of your own grief.
Yeah. Well, and actually, I was wedding planning shortly after my dad passed, and so going through all of that, I was like, there's so many more resources in planning a wedding than there is in planning a funeral, and they're both such, big events that happen in someone's life, and so there is a lot of correlation going on, and we're like, we should create something like this for funeral planning as well.
I mean, I agree, because it seems like we do grief very odd, in my opinion. Like, we lose someone, we go through having a service, and then we kind of just move on, and that's just the beginning of going on that journey and navigating grief. Yeah,
it's hard, and I haven't been the same since my dad died, so hopefully this is a resource that can kind of take care of the practical things, so you can deal with the personal things as you should.
Absolutely. This is a really great resource. I would recommend to anybody, because you're emotionally going through it, your brain's all jumbled up, and this can help you just to kind of stay organized and stay the course and do what you have to do until you can get to that space to be emotionally safe for yourself.
Exactly.
Mallory, thank you so much. This is incredible. Thank you for sharing your story too. Or a lot of information about Fulfilling Goodbye on our website, lifestylelive.tv.
Lifestyle Live. Lifestyle Live.
That was such a heartfelt and eye-opening conversation I got to have with Mallory. Fulfilling Goodbye, it's more than just a book. It's a guide, it's a companion, a source of comfort for those during life's most vulnerable moments. I don't know if you're out there, if you're navigating grief right now, or you just want to be prepared to support someone who is. Mallory's insights remind us that it is okay to ask for help, and that structure can sometimes bring peace in the middle of chaos. Thanks again for spending time with us here on the Lifestyle Live podcast. You want to hear about books like these and other important conversations, be sure to watch Lifestyle Live every weekday starting at 10 a.m. See you there.
From the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the Lifestyle Live Podcast. Thank you for listening. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And connect for even more on Facebook and at lifestylelive.tv.
Faces you know and a team you can trust. Stories that form your heart.